Morning. I was talking to Thomas, and we're always talking about things we do, and one of the things I wanted to tell you before we get started, Thomas says I have a strange reading list, and this is the last book I read, and if you could see that, you could look it up, and it's about from the Big Bang Theory to right now, and they're just little snippets. They're not a big story, but it's got everything: the French Revolution, how plants evolved, science, and everything. And I thought it really pertains to what we do in horticulture. So this reminded me of two other books I have read lately, and books that you should read, definitely. It's What Plants Know, and the other one's What Trees Know. Because when I went to college, the teacher told me, when I said plants know this, they said, Mr. Broucaret, you don't know anything. Plants know nothing. It's all been proven now through scientific studies and everything, that plants do intermingle and their roots go together and they sense in their own way, and they grow together, okay? Well, that brings us down to today, that Thomas said we'll talk about my favorite plant list. And if you get to know me, my plant list, my students have told me in the past, you have a very limited palette. And I said, that's what happens with 50 years of experience. When you first come in and you open up a sunset book, my goodness, look what you have here. All these plants, it'll grow in zone 14. I can grow this. No, you can't. So you have to know, and I think the last time we talked, I talked about putting the right plant in the right spot. Well, my plant list is from that. And I was in business to make money. So the object was plant plants that are beautiful, the client will like, easy to put in, not too expensive, and easy to maintain. You don't want something that's going to have insects all the time, and you're going to have to spray it and do this and baby it and whatever. This is costing your client more and more money. And what I found in my business, that people don't want to spend a lot of money if they can help it. They'd rather have a beautiful garden without spending a lot of money. So this is how I pick my plants. So my favorite two plants that, if I told Thomas, if I'm going to be reincarnated, I don't really want to be a person or an elephant or anything. I want to be either a redwood tree or an oak tree. They live for a long time, and they get to watch everything. So these are hard for me to plant though in San Francisco. Redwood trees are huge, oak trees are huge, and I like to put plants in that can stay here 100 years. And so if they're slow growing or dwarfs, that's fine, okay? So those are those trees. One tree I would like to tell you I hardly ever plant is called liquid amber. Liquid ambers have codominant stems. When the trunks come up like this and the two stick together, well, as they grow and grow and grow, they get heavier and heavier. This part will split out. And then it splits the tree. You might as well get rid of the tree. So that's the only way. It's a beautiful tree. If you can get one that doesn't have codominant stem, or you can train it in such a way that you don't have them, it's a beautiful tree.
Gus, that's a sweet gum? Liquid amber sweet gum?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were very popular when I was in college because they were making not clones, but new varieties, better color in the fall. When their fall color is just gorgeous, and people want them. I think on Stanyan, from let's say above Haight Street, going south up the hill, There are a lot of liquid ambers there, and you can see them, okay? But if you really get into my favorite list that are easy to take care of that I like in trees, we got Maton tree. One drawback, they sucker. So it depends where you're putting it. Usually I've used them as street trees. In the lawn, kind of bad, because they'll come over here and little ones are coming up all over the place. But it's a very beautiful tree, easy to maintain, but like I say, where you put it is important. Another one, a bunch that I like, if you want deciduous and flowering trees, I like flowering cherries, flowering plums, and crab apples. Probably crab apples probably my favorite. They have a lot of them in Golden Gate Park, and if you go when they're in bloom, you'll fall in love with them. And easy to prune and very easy to care for. So you could do that. When you get into like magnolias, I like all magnolias, but again in San Francisco, sometimes they're too large. Maybe as a street tree, you could use grandifloras or certain clones that they have. But in the garden here at City College, I put one out in front. It's called stellata, and it's deciduous. And you could keep it, I had them that I could keep them to 12 feet if I want, maybe even shorter. If you prune them every year, it's all thinning and whatever. It's called star magnolia. It doesn't have the great big flower, but really when they bloom, they're gorgeous. I think we have one in the flower shop too, behind the flower shop. Okay, and then the other one that I really like is ginkgo. I really love ginkgos, easy to take care of, everything good. And if you talk to the people that run the street and tree division, the reason they don't like them, they're too slow. That's their only gripe, because children, cars, people break them, you know, before they get big enough to take care of themselves. But if you ever see large ones, you go to other, like over in Hayward and places that use them as street trees, you know, they're 25, 30 feet tall or taller, beautiful, beautiful color. I think there's some on 20th Street near Mission. And when they get ready to drop their leaves, solid gold. They're just gorgeous. Okay, then we get into the shrubs. Everybody knows me. Camellias, rhododendrons, and azaleas. Those are my favorite. They're out of vogue right now. You don't really see a lot of them being planted. Nothing wrong with them. Easy to take care of. Another one is Podocarpus, Macrophylla, and Gracillia. Gracillia I like. And I always thought that they were just a little tree and everything until I saw them in the Arboretum, and then I've seen them as street trees in outlying areas. They're a huge tree, and they're gorgeous. Easy to take care of. Then what else do I have in here? In shrubbery, I like Mediterranean heather. You gotta order it. We have two of them. I planted them out here in a formal garden. They were very popular when I was in college and went out of vogue again. Easy to take care of. They're not real long-lived, you know, maybe 25 years. They're beautiful, and then they get kind of woody and old. But in that time period, they're beautiful. And that's one thing you have to remember. Certain plants maybe don't have to live forever in our time frame. You know, there's nothing wrong. We're ripping it out and put another one in. You know, and you don't do this in your whole garden all at once. You get rid of one here, 5 years later you get rid of another plant over there, and the garden always looks beautiful, okay? Also, Thomas knows me, I like natives and I like junipers. Both are fairly drought resistant, you know, they don't need a lot of care, and each has its place. You know, a lot of people, they got away from agapanthus and they got away from junipers. And, oh, freeway plants. Oh, everybody's got them. Just because everybody has them doesn't mean it's no good. You know, it's how you could work it into your landscape. And out here in the front, I have a Hollywood juniper, Juniperus terrullosa. Okay, I like it. I like the one we have here because it's got big arms on it. And over the years, what I found, a lot of nurseries would get the variety with just one trunk coming up. And I didn't like that. I had to order this type here, and I found out the reason was they could put more on a truck, you get more in a row in a growing nursery, just having the thin ones. But they don't look like this one out here. This has got character, okay? And another tree that I like, we have one out in front, I like Japanese black pine. I thought that they were a nice small tree until I had a horticulturist I knew for years, Albert Wilson was the name. It was on television. And he said, oh no, when I went to Japan, he says they're 80 feet tall. I go, whoa, 80 feet tall. But this is what's hard for us to really learn what a plant potential is. You know, where they're grown in natives. Okay? Then we can get into vines and things like that. I like wisteria. I like Japanese quince. I think those are kind of cool. Ivy. A lot of people don't like ivy. Well, in its right place, I have a John Mosey Hans ivy. All the other ivies are kind of big leaf and a little out of scale for me, but it depends where you are. In their right place, ice plant is a good cover. You got to be careful when we get a freeze, it'll wipe it all out. Another one that we have here, it was recommended to me by a student, it's called Amandia. And I thought, we got it out here. It's a cool little ground cover. You could walk on it, and it had little yellow flowers, but that's not the important part, a little variegated leaf. And so that was a good one. Another one of the espalier plants and vines that is Gruya. And look that one up, it's in the formal garden too. Okay, so this is my list. You will have your own, because everybody has their own, but try and use my criteria to have a favorite list, not just because it's pretty. Bye-bye.